angels willing to hold us in their arms. When our worth was stone or ashes, and we both passed on. Let forever mean forever and carry on.
Good afternoon. Wow, been a kind of a busy, interesting day. Trying to think of any updates. I can't think of much. We did get our share sale, and we closed our share sale account, as you recall, on the 20th. We completely closed it, and they had already gotten it to us. So that's one good thing about them. They got our one and only and final payment rather quickly. I thought I was going to have to wait a month to do that. So since that came in, I did get a couple of sets of rechargeable batteries, a 4-bay charger, so I can charge 4 batteries at one time. My Nightcore charger is only a 2-bay, so other than that, just got some silica wick and some nichrome wire for these pods, because yesterday I rebuilt the one pod. I didn't take a video of it. My apologies. I actually did it during the show yesterday. And anyway, it turns out that 32 gauge wire is the way to go, and I'm going to say probably about 6 wraps. I did 5 yesterday, and it's still a little low. So anyway, I ordered me a new roll of 32 gauge wire because I don't have a whole lot left on the old roll I had. So anyway, pardon me. So that's a thing, right? So anyway, we'll be sure now not to run out of batteries. When I did the fire making video, was the first set of batteries that I had to replace in that camera. Which I'm impressed as far as that's concerned, because I'd been playing around with that camera off and on quite a bit, so for that to be the first set of batteries, that's not bad at all. So, but anyway, Energizer, I was going to get Inaloop, but I went ahead and went with Energizer. The reason being is the Inaloop, I wanted 8 batteries. I wanted 2 sets of batteries for the camera, and if you get the Inaloops, you're going to be, paying roughly between $30-$40, depending on which kind of Inaloops you get. And Energizers had a Power Plus, I believe they are. They're 2300 mAh, which sounds like it's a pretty good battery to me. So that's what I went with. We got 8 of those coming. So, pardon me. Next up is going to be like green screen and stuff like that, so we can get stuff really on the ball here. So there is that for updates today. Let's see, trying to think of anything else. We did reach our goal on our Amazon affiliate, so I set up these goals. It really doesn't matter if I make it or not, but I set them anyway. So we did reach that as of today. So again, I want to thank anybody that participates in our Amazon affiliate program. There's a link in the video description of all the videos, or you can go to the watchmannews.com. Right there, we've got different suggested sections. Right, they're not suggested items necessarily. We have those here under store. There's a recommended section. So, however, on the home page, these are just like pardon me, topics, categories, and they put up their suggested products in those particular categories. But if you wanted something on here, like, I don't know, cat underwear, I don't know if they make a such thing, but hey, that's oh, well, it changed it to cat underwear women. How do you like that? How is that a cat, by the way? How is an eagle and the Constitution and an American flag oh, never mind. I figured out where the cat comes in. Anyway, so you can put literally anything you want in that search box, and if you make a purchase, then look at that. See, we got the little furry ears. Never mind, I won't go there. But you can put anything you want in the search category, And, wait, lick it before, no. Sorry for the distractions, which, by the way, is what my monologue's going to be about, so I'm already failing there. You can put anything in the search box, hit enter when it comes up. You know, if you make your purchase, it gives us the credit, and I thank you very, very, very much. Every little bit helps, folks. We're not only on a preparedness journey, but we're also on a journey to bring you a better show and be able to do more things, bring you more do-it-yourself kind of things, because I think that's really imperative, especially when it comes to prepping. So, one second. Okay, had to clear my throat, and I've already coughed enough in the mic. My apologies for that. Let's see. So anyway, as I was saying, we're up to 5670. So that is like absolutely awesome. And again, I thank you very, very much. Now this is like a 2 months deferred thing, so we won't see this for another 2 months. But however, our first month we should be seeing this coming month, next month. So towards the end of the month, if I'm not mistaken, we should get it for that. So unless something comes up again and we get money come in somehow or another before then at that time we'll probably be getting like a green screen, and I need to get some lights so that I can have proper lighting for the green screen. So it's a work in progress like everything else. So, but I wanted to update you on that. So I've already kind of spilled the beans a little bit about my topic that I want to talk about, and that's distractions. Right now I need to distract myself with a sip of coffee. Okay. I was hoping that would kind of clear my throat a little bit. So I tried to do it off mic. Wow. I don't know, I must have swallowed a tadpole and now I got a frog in my throat or something. But anyway, so, you know, we had something very interesting happen this morning, okay? We're sitting here, we're drinking our coffee, minding our own business, and all of a sudden we hear just this loud crunch. And it almost sounded, it is trash day. No, Jen didn't take me out. She'll have to put me out next month. But next week, I should say. Just kidding. So it kind of sounded like the dumpster, and it sounded like the trash truck putting the dumpster back down. But the noise came from out front. We don't have a dumpster out front. Our dumpster's in the back. So I immediately got up and I looked out the window, and I saw a car wedged up underneath a school bus. We've got a church right across the street from us. That church also has a school, and so it's also a pickup spot for kids going to a Catholic school in another town, and that's what this particular bus does. It picks up the kids from Highland. I believe Highland's got at their Catholic church, I believe they have. I know they have the elementary. I don't know if they have like the junior high here or if that's at Mater Day as well. But nonetheless, they take students that are too old for like the elementary and stuff like that, and they bus them to a different school in a different town. So that's why there's always a bus parked out in front for a little length of time every morning. And so anyway, I looked out there, and this car is literally wedged up. The back bumper of the bus was almost to the windshield of the car. That's how far this car was wedged under this bus. Now, mind you, it was just one side of the car. Okay, I mean, the bumper of the bus probably only got even maybe about 4 inches, 5 inches of the hood on the passenger side. So, it's not like the car hit it in the back end square on, and you know, went up, you know, lifted the whole bus up. But nonetheless, the driver's side rear tire of the bus was almost off of the ground. That car had wedged itself so far up under it. It was I can't tell you what kind of car it was. I'm not sure. I've seen them a million times. It was kind of like an Intrepid-ish kind of looking car, almost like a Dodge Intrepid. I don't know if it was or not, but it had that sloped kind of sporty front end. Which of course was the front end's lower than what the rear bumper is of the bus to begin with. So speed, I would say there are no black marks. There was no sounds of brake squealing or anything like that. So I don't think she hit the brakes at all. From as far as the car was up under there, I would say she would have had to have been doing roughly 35, 40 mile an hour. I don't even know if she had stopped for the stop sign at the end of the block, considering she was going that kind of speed. We've got kind of small blocks here. It's a small town. It's not like a major city where the blocks are like real long. And so nonetheless, it was quite interesting morning. Now there were children on the bus. In fact, I believe that the bus was probably about ready to take off, considering how many students were on it and what time it was and stuff. But the bus was loaded down with students. And I don't know if she was texting and driving or what she was doing, but considering that there was no attempt to stop the vehicle, no clear attempt to stop the vehicle, she was clearly one way or another being distracted, okay? Again, I'm not saying she was texting and driving, I don't know. But she clearly wasn't paying attention. She was clearly distracted with something else, whether it was looking down, messing with her radio, or possibly texting, or whatever the case might be. But it kind of leads me to my topic today, because, it would have been very easy for a child to have gotten killed today. Very easy. If there would have been a child walking behind that bus, I'm telling you, and it just makes me shudder to think. So it reminds me of how important it is that we pay attention. Okay, we pay attention to as many things around us as we possibly can, and we don't allow ourselves to be distracted. Okay, because it can cost lives. It can cost you your own life, or it can cost you the lives of loved ones, or it can cost you the life of somebody you don't know. Very important, and it plays very much into news. Okay, take a look at this with this Smollett case. Okay. The red team, as I affectionately, or maybe not so, call them, right, are infuriated about this. And I am too, right, because I don't pick a side. I'm not on a team. But when somebody commits a crime, especially as heinous as faking a hate crime, to have 16 counts, yes, 16 counts just disappear, that's crazy. That's crazy. 16, folks. 16. All the counts disappeared. Just like that. Now, I have to believe that that's a distraction. I have no choice but to believe that. Now, of course, we have all of this stuff with the Mueller report and all that, and there's a lot of people that are demanding the Mueller report be completely released. I'm in that boat. I think it should be completely released. I have to wonder if that's what this is. If this is a distraction to get people off of that, or what the case may be. I just think the timing speaks everything here. So be careful of these distractions. Be very, very careful. Okay, again, it may not just be politics. It could be somebody's life in jeopardy. So pay attention to your surroundings. Try to pay close attention to detail. Very important stuff. Very important stuff. And this takes place in everything you do. Everything you do. Right? The other day when I did the one-handed fire challenge, okay, it was important that I paid close attention to detail. Okay, it was important that I paid close attention to how hard I was, or how fast, or both, that I was scraping that scraper to get material off the ferro rod. And as you've seen in the video, one of the times that I scraped a little too hard, a little too fast, and ignited the pile that I was working on. So, obviously, that wasn't my intention to do that. Sometimes, no matter how much attention you pay, it ain't going to make much of a difference, like in that case. But a lot of things are preventable, As long as we are paying attention, we are conscious of what's going on, and most importantly, we can't be on a side. Okay, the moment that we start picking sides, then we're going to start missing things that are very important clues. Okay, like I've been saying, I'm on this rail on whether or not Trump is part of the deep state. I have to ask that question because, again, and I've gone over this a million times, Israel is as much the deep state as it gets. So pandering for Israel is pandering for the deep state. Plain and simple. So how am I supposed to believe that Trump isn't a part of the deep state? Pretty simple stuff. But see, I would never see that in a million years if I flew that red flag. I would deny it, deny it, deny it, deny it. All because I didn't want it to be true. That is a disservice to those around you and those that depend on you. An incredible disservice to them. Okay, right now, with what's going on with the Smollett case, okay, I'm sure that many on the blue team are cheering and jumping up and down, and they think it's great. Okay, are they going to think it's that great when people get away with claiming that they committed a fake crime? What about the next time that there's a protest and it's typically left people in the protest, especially when it comes to walking through the streets chanting and carrying signs? So what about if a group of them get all corralled up and hauled off to jail because a couple of unruly individuals decided to break out some store windows? Okay, what if they get corralled up, a whole bunch of them, and taken off to jail, charged with rioting, and, next thing you know, they've got multiple felonies that they're looking at for something that they had nothing to do with? How would they feel? So you see how dangerous it is to pick a side, and just because you're on that side, saying, well, it's okay that they did this because I'm on their side? It's a very dangerous precedent to set. Free speech comes into play here. To try to silence people, right? To try to silence people like, help me out here, babe. Football player. Yeah, Colin Kaepernick. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Thank you, babe. Colin Kaepernick. To try to silence him is a disservice to yourself and all those others out there that are considered, at least call themselves freedom-loving individuals. Most of them are liars. Because it's plain and simple. If you don't afford him his freedom of speech, his right to his First Amendment, then who the hell do you think should afford you yours? It's pretty simple. The most important thing is don't take up sides, especially when it involves things like the Constitution. The Constitution is not Republican. The Constitution is not Democrat. The Constitution is very clearly neither. Neither. The Constitution don't have a political party, unfortunately. Because both the left and the right are raping it for everything they've got. Both of them. So we have to be careful. And this is part of paying attention and paying attention to detail. Not being distracted. See, because saying that it's okay for one group to be silenced just because you're against them is not paying attention to the detail that it could happen to you, or being distracted by the giddiness you feel, the false sense of pride, because your team's getting away with something that they shouldn't be. You see what I'm saying? It's pretty simple. It really is. We just got to stop taking sides and picking teams. So it does all play in together. It really, really, truly does. This thing is with the Smollett is disgusting. It really, truly is. And I'm afraid that it's going to open up the doors even more for things like this to happen. I really do. We cannot allow it to be seen as okay to do these things. And we need to take it upon ourselves as we the people to fix this problem, to fix all these problems. I don't even know where to go with that. You know, how do we deal with this situation with the, I'm going to call him Smucket, because he is a schmuck. How are we going to fix this situation with Schmucket? Right? We can't go lynch him. Yeah, sure, that might feel good. But then he actually does get to play the victim card. You see, you gotta watch these lame brains. Okay? I know, I was married to one. You gotta watch them because you can't do anything. Anything that you do whatsoever, they're gonna claim a victim for. And even if you don't do anything, they're still gonna claim a victim for it. I guarantee you my ex is out there doing that very thing right now. Right? I'm a horrible, terrible person because I don't even try to get in contact with my kids. But see, what she wants to do is she wants to use my children as a bait to get me to do that. And then that way she can keep perpetually claiming a victim. Okay? When I don't have to do anything in the direction of victimization. But see, that's the good thing about these liars. They can just make it up. They can always find drama queens that they can get to feel sorry for them and you know, feed into them. Every time. My ex is like a pro at this. So that's what I did. I completely broke contact and had nothing to do with her. Okay? Unfortunately, both myself and my children take a loss for that. There's nothing I can do. Because me, being a white male, sure the hell don't have the courts on my side. Now you get an idea why I think that these judges and this government needs to be swinging from lampposts? Because I've had to forfeit my children because of these pieces of shit. I can't even tell you what I feel and what I think because the pieces of shit in blue will be at my door in a heartbeat. So I even have to censor myself. That's not right. I'm getting tired of being silent. I'm getting tired of being complacent. I'm getting tired of these people getting away and victimizing people and then claiming to be the victim and then being fed into. We have to fix this together because if any one of us acts out alone, they'll string us up. We've got to do something. Start stockpiling your torches and your pitchforks, folks. I'm serious. I'm serious. We got to do something. I could also bring up the God knows how many entertainers that have made death threats and everything else against Trump. And nothing happened. Nothing happened. Right? But all Trump has to do is say something like build the wall and oh, you're a racist and you're... It's up to us to fix, folks. If you love Trump and you support Trump, then help him. Then help him. Get off your ass and stop just wanting to go punch a ballot every 2 years, thinking you're doing something when you're actually a disgrace to intelligent thinking people in this country that are waiting for you to get off your ass and do something real. If you love Trump, you want to help Trump, it's not going to be by a vote. It's going to be by actually helping him make America great again. Hearing that, seeing that makes me so sick and disgusted because people are expecting one person to do this. When the United States is not one person, it is all of our responsibility. You want to see America great again? Then get off your ass and make it that way. But be very prepared to watch out for those distractions, to pay attention to the details. Because I tell you what, there are people on the left and the right that are fighting with everything they have to keep their cushy little corrupt government that they currently serve in. Yesterday we played a video back from the early 1900s where U.S. veterans was attacked by the U.S. military. All because they were starving, they were hungry, they were cold, they were homeless, and all they wanted was the bonus check that the government promised to them. And when the government failed to deliver for an extended period of time, they decided upon themselves to march on Washington, in which they decided to occupy Washington. And when the political games couldn't work out in their favor, the president sicked the military on them. I'm not saying that this is going to be easy or this is going to be pretty, but that's where paying attention to detail and watching out for the distractions is important. One of the biggest distractions that I see today is religion. How so? Well, I can sit here and I can have a very intellectual conversation with you about 9/11. And you can sit here and agree with me that Israel and Saudi Arabia had huge parts in 9/11. Huge, huge. I would say Israel had the biggest part in 9/11. But the moment a meme gets shared on social media with the word Muslim and a picture of the Twin Towers, most people are all over it. Oh, Muslim, gotta get a Muslims. Muslims had nothing to do with it. But you see how quickly you were distracted just by a word, a key word that they put in people's minds? Be careful of that. Be careful of that. It'll cause you to lose your focus every single time, as in the case of 9/11. Anyway, so I get frustrated with this stuff, but this stuff just doesn't affect me in a news kind of way, but it affects me personally. It's something that I have to deal with every single day, day in and day out. I think about my boys all the time, and the fact that I can't see them just because of a indescribably disgusting human being, it's hard. That's why I work so much. That's why I put so much time in doing things for the news or anything else I can do just to keep my mind off of it. Otherwise, it'd drive me absolutely nuts. Anyway, let me go ahead and go over the headlines, and then we'll go from there. Things definitely aren't really getting a whole lot better as far as news is concerned. U.S. will not tolerate hostile foreign meddling in Western Hemisphere, says Bolton. How do you like that, right? That, to me, that's unbelievable. So we can meddle everywhere on the planet, but nobody else is allowed to meddle in the Western Hemisphere. Let's see. Trump administration now says entire Affordable Care Act should be struck down. I certainly hope they mean it. You know, there are two things in the news today that actually are going in Trump's favor. This is one of them. We'll see what happens. Now they've got, well, I say they got McCain out there. If anything's God-inspired, that his death, to me, was God-inspired. He's gone. He's not there no more. So maybe a second attempt at this is what we need to do. Cannabis industry questions new system that adds chemicals to marijuana for tracking purposes. Yeah, you heard me right. They want to put chemicals in the marijuana that will allow them to track where the seeds came from, where it was grown. How in the hell are they going to do this? This is what scares me. You want to talk about some serious nanotechnology here. Because they will be able to know where the seeds came from, okay? And then, in turn, also know where the plant grew. Can you see what happens? Anything good we get, the government poisons it. Literally poisons it. Insane. Town halls in 7 German cities evacuated due to bomb threat. UK opposition demands end to support for Saudis after special forces casualties in Yemen. Trump's Golan Heights recognition is a move towards further isolation for the U.S. To me, that's kind of a given. Netanyahu hints at new Gaza invasion amid night of cross-border fire. Pentagon signs off on first $1 billion for border security, including 57 miles of 18-foot high wall. So that was the other thing I was talking about. Yay, we're actually going to see some wall. Now, I'm not, overly because hell, you know what? The wall has been being built for decades now, okay, by both Republicans and Democrats, okay? So this whole thing with this wall that we're seeing with Trump, okay, it's not that it's a Republican thing and that Democrats are just against building a wall. It's a Trump thing. They just don't like Trump. This has nothing to do with the wall. Has nothing to do with immigration. It has to do with their loathing that Trump got in office. That's all it has to do with. But nonetheless, it was a campaign promise. It is at least starting to pan out. So we'll see. I'm glad. I support the idea of the wall. It's common sense. Common sense. Washington's ally Saudi Arabia rejects Trump's Golan Heights resolution. So, how's that going to put a spin on things? Probably not much, because you know what? We turned a blind eye to them killing a journalist, Khashoggi. Right? We turned a blind eye to that. They'll probably turn a blind eye to this. So, it's kind of how it works. What is Article 13? Controversial. I can't, read, speak, or... Wow. Controversial EU copyright law faces final vote. And it's going to pop up again here in the news in a moment. Trio of misfortune. Venezuela blames Pompeo, Bolton, and Rubio as fresh blackout hits country. The good thing is they got it back up. The power they got back up in record time. So that's the good thing. China signs multi-billion-dollar deal with Airbus in another big blow to Boeing. Oh, and you think Boeing's out of the news yet? Oh, no. the last thing that I shared out, I think it was the last thing, mind-blowing. Let's see. U.S. decision on Golan Heights is highway to war, says the Russian Duma speaker. Russia adds more than 1 million ounces of gold to country's vast stockpile. This is something that I've been telling folks to keep an eye on, right? Russia and China have really been stockpiling gold. There's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. Last nail in petrodollar coffin, Gazprom could help Russia shift away from greenback. This is an unbelievable headline. Debt collector makes a porn photo collage with borrower's child to blackmail him. Happened in Russia. Yeah, that's how far a debt collector went. They took pictures of their child and made a porn photo collage with it and tried to blackmail them. Didn't work so well for the debt collector. He was arrested and is facing some serious charges and jail time. Dark day for internet freedom. EU lawmakers approve controversial copyright reform. Yes. So now in the EU, if you've got a package of Oreos that happens to be behind you on the shelf, I'm going to die here. Just don't use a Spyderco knife and get it in the frame of the video, because we might get in trouble for copyright. But seriously, if you have something that's on the wall behind you or on a shelf or something like that while you're making a video or taking a picture, right, and that's copyrighted material or trademark kind of material, a logo or anything like that, you just violated that law. Literally just violated that law. I mean, it is so insane and overreaching, it's unreal. And it was passed. It was passed. Keep your eyes open. It'll probably come here next. Trump's Golan gift to Israel condemned by UN, Gulf, and European allies. This is not a popular move around the world. A lot of people are upset about this, and rightfully so. Germany wants Europe to join China's new Silk Road after criticizing Italy for doing the same. I'm not quite sure what that's all about, but there's a lot of countries that's joining up with it. More bad news for the U.S. economy. And never forget what they did here. Snowden vents dismay at EU copyright reform. A gay principal fired over sex with teens reinstated after tribunal rules decision discriminatory. You hear that? So there was a principal, right? And the gay thing doesn't even matter. There was a principal that had sex with teens and was fired as a result of it. And the gay thing does kind of play into effect as to why he was reinstated, because they're saying because he was gay, they're discriminating against him. So apparently, if you're gay, it's okay to have sex with teens, and you can't be charged or anything happen to you. Is this the deal with the priest? Is this how Catholic priests are constantly getting away with this because they're gay? I'm just using that as an example. I know it's not always little boys that priests go after. They do go after little girls as well, but really? People are losing their minds. This happened in the UK, by the way. The money not flowing into U.S. economy because of bankers lending to their friends. Well, yeah. That was just like the TARP bailouts and stuff like that. You know, that money really didn't go where it needed to go in order to improve the economy. It went into a bunch of rich people's pockets, so they didn't take bigger losses than what they were for making the bad decisions that they did. Appellate court will hear arguments in case of Trump blocking Twitter users. You know, I was thinking about that when I read the headline earlier, and it's like, you know, I kind of see the point here. Normally, I wouldn't have anything to say about somebody blocking somebody else on a social media platform. But Trump is the president, and I would think that any public servant shouldn't be allowed to block people on a social media platform. Yeah, I get it. There's going to be people that are unrightfully ignorant towards them. We got the First Amendment. This is the United States. It's not North Korea. So I get this. I do. Remember, you have to be mindful. You have to watch distractions, just because he's on your team. You can't use that as a justification. Because in the next time around, and believe me, there'll likely be a next time around, meaning that there will likely be a Democrat in office soon. But when I say soon, I'm talking like 2024. I do think Trump will get reelected. But I think promptly after Trump, I think a Democrat will be in. Have no doubt of that. No doubt of that. So what you do now with red team at the helm, you have to be okay in 2024 with blue team at the helm. Let's see. Criminal charges dropped in case against Jussie Smollett, attorneys say. Schmuck it. Pope Francis awkwardly jerks his hand away, refusing to let people kiss his ring. Now, I wouldn't want to even be in the same room with this thing, but this is interesting. We've all seen how people it's like a custom, a tradition for people to bend down and kiss his ring. Okay, don't get it, but okay. Very, very much a tradition, very much a custom, right? Watch the Pope's reaction. This was mind-blowing to me. Have you ever seen that before? I don't get it. A little bit of explanation maybe would be nice. I mean, who knows? Maybe the guy's a germaphobe, but most germaphobes wouldn't even let somebody else shake their hand. Okay? I don't get it. I would love to hear an explanation from Pepe himself. That's just crazy. Weird. Russian specialists are in Venezuela based on existing military cooperation treaty, says the Russian Foreign Ministry. Rookie cop shoots man who requested supervisor during seatbelt stop. Yeah. I kid you not. Here's the claim. Okay? So apparently, this man was pulled over. The female officer, told him she stopped him for failure to wear a seatbelt. Well, now he claimed that the reason she actually stopped him was because he was African American. Now, we're not going to go there, okay? Nonetheless, he asked to speak to the supervisor, in which he has full right to speak to the supervisor. Well, she denied him speaking to the supervisor, told him he wasn't going to speak to the supervisor, and he got highly upset over that, rightfully so. I may not agree with his whole, you're a racist thing just because you pulled me over, but, and it could have been a case of that. I'm not saying it wasn't, but I'm tired of seeing the race card get played when, again, this fake victim thing all the time. Hey, it's, maybe the people that are true victims need to go after the fake victims, and that way they'll be a little more believable when they make their claims. That's just to me, makes sense. But anyway, so this officer claims that she actually, there wound up being a struggle and whatnot. This officer claims that she actually went to reach for her taser to tase him, but accidentally grabbed the wrong device, grabbed her gun, and shot him. So, I mean, really? It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And all this cop had to do to de-escalate it was call a supervisor. That's all. To do what is within his rights to request. It's insane. U.S. does not intend to solve Venezuelan crisis militarily, says Shanahan. So who are we supposed to believe? Because we hear so many different stories coming out of this government. Air raid sirens sound in southern Israel. This is again, of course, yesterday I read an article that said the very same thing. This is not the same article. This happened again. Onlookers watch in horror as New Zealand bridge breaks apart during intense flooding. So, and I made sure to share this because, I want people to see just how much weather is a catastrophe globally. Okay? And it's going to continue getting worse and worse and worse. So expect, the prices of foods and all that to go through the roof, because there are places getting absolutely hammered, and you don't know about it in most of the cases because it's not being talked about. How often do you hear about what's happened in Nebraska on mainstream news? You don't. It's almost like it didn't happen. That's concerning. That's a big deal. U.S. blocks Syrian-Russian delegation from occupied Al-Tanif zone, rejects talks on trapped refugees. This blows my mind, right? So they are in Syria. Let me say that again. They are in Syria, okay? And delegation from where? Syria, right? And Russia, the one country that's allowed to be there. Well, not just one country, but Russia is allowed to be there. The United States is not. Okay, the United States is not welcome nor wanted in Syria. Okay, we have forced our way into there. We have invaded their country. Okay, their Syrian delegation, along with delegates from Russia, want to go see this particular area to check on some refugees, and the United States would not let them in. I don't think it's refugees that the United States is trying to hide. I think it's likely ISIS, or commonly known as ISIS, that the U.S. is trying to protect and rebuild and regroup. Measles outbreak leads New York County to ban unvaccinated children from public spaces. Just blows my mind to think that we used to have parties, right, to where people would come and, bring their children, and their children would contract these different diseases, so they would get it done and out of their system. Chicken pox was real popular with that. And then now all of a sudden, we gotta, folks, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Look at all the things. Pull up the news stories about the people that have gotten different things like cancer and all kinds of other things from vaccinations. Purposely tainted vaccinations right here in the U.S. And then when you're sick to your stomach from that, go look at what they've done in other countries like Africa. Go look at what the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has done to people worldwide with their vaccination programs. Don't fall for it, folks. We're not investigators. CNN chief ridiculed over defending coverage of Mueller probe. And this last one is of particular interest to me. Southwest Boeing 737 MAX emergency lands in Florida after engine problem. Aren't they supposed to be grounded? What part of grounded am I missing here? Why is there one in the air? Why does it have to emergency land? Okay, in order to emergency land, that means it has to have been in the air. Why is it in the air? They're supposed to be grounded. It's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. I guess as with the case of this jack-off Smollett, you've got enough money, you can do whatever the hell you want, right? Again, it'll only be fixed by us, not at a ballot box. Not at a ballot box. We got to get ourselves off our asses, and we have to actually do something useful and meaningful. Wow, imagine that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close up the monologue. I know it's been a rough one. I've probably pissed several people off, and that's just the way it goes. I'm here to tell the truth. I'm not here to cherry coat. I'm not here to suck up to anybody. I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to pander to a political party. I'm here to tell you the truth. And the truth sucks. And I don't like it any better than anybody else, but I'm not going to pick a side so I can ignore it. It's just the way it is. Just the way it is. I would be doing a disservice to you and to God if I did anything other. So anyway, let me close up the monologue. We'll get on with the rest of the show. For those watching a live show, stick around. We'll be live till 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. For those that watch the monologue or the recording thereof, thank you very much. If you actually made it this far. As always, God bless you. We love you, and be one with your spirit.